Bienvenue sur BBW TV, votre nouvelle chaîne sur YouTube.
Hi guys, my name is Jack Messiah. For those of you who've been following BBW Mass TV on YouTube, you should be quite familiar with my name. The thing is, so far we've done lots of broadcasting. I've done quite a few live programs, but they've all been in our native language, Lingala, which is the language spoken in the Democratic Republic of Congo, my country of origin. And the reason I have decided to do this live today is to try and interact with those who follow BBW Mass TV from French speaking countries and English speaking countries. I'm sure if you manage to follow us on our Facebook page so far, you should know that BBW Mass TV stands for Best of Both World Mass TV. Why Best of Both World? Because the world in which we live nowadays comprises both the spiritual world and the physical world. Whether we like it or not, the world is divided into two: the spiritual and the physical. That's the very reason today I'm going to talk a little bit regarding the world in which we live. For the mere reason, we only have one, the planet in which we live is called Earth. It's only one planet. There are other planets, but unfortunately humans do not live there. The scientists are doing their best to try and find out chances of surviving in other planets such as Mars, Uranus, Pluto, and so on. But so far, the planet on which we live is Earth. And I wanted to point something regarding our planet. It's not something that I'm the first person to say it. What I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to repeat what many people have said before me. And surprisingly enough, not everybody gets the chance to analyze in details what it means. That is the two worlds that actually governs our lives. It's the spiritual world and the physical world. The so many experts in human psychology, religious studies said it before, that many things we do in the physical world are determined or predetermined in the spiritual world. That's the very reason my life today is entitled One Planet, Two Worlds. Incidentally, I happen to come from a country where spiritually people actually strongly believe in forces that are beyond our control, forces that control the world in which we live. But however, not everybody actually understands in details the influence of the spiritual world on the physical world. And for one to be able to understand exactly the difference between the spiritual world and the physical world, I would urge you to follow this video, or a few minutes I'm going to talk. I'll try and be as short as I can, because I know sometimes if you're talking about something as deep as the spiritual and physical realm, you have to choose your word very carefully. Otherwise, many followers will end up getting, as we say, the more you listen, the more you get confused. I want to put an emphasis on the fact that I'll try to be as simple as I can to make as many people understand as possible the difference between the spiritual world realm and the physical realm. The reason I'm saying that, because very few people will agree with me, or many people will agree with me, that the spiritual world is so powerful that in every civilization, as far as mankind is concerned, people always believe in supernatural forces that one way or another controls daily living. And for me to be more precise, I would say, as far as the spiritual world is concerned, there's nothing such as coincidence. Everything is predetermined. Everything is preconceived. Like those who are from Christian background will agree with me that according to the Holy Script, the Almighty God, when He created each and every one, He knew exactly the plans reserved for each of us. However, when we come into life, there are some certain things which we come across. If you are not that prepared, those things may just hit you as a rock. And if it happens that way, very few people survive. People end up going different ways. That is why, for one to survive every atrocity, it would be advisable to learn about the secrets of life. When I say secrets of life, it's almost like I always like to talk about football for me to be able to point to some similarity. When you talk about football, you have so many football teams, you got so many football federations, you got so many people involved in the beautiful games, but very few do survive to reach the top. Very few survive to get to the point where they start accumulating trophies. I'll mention clubs like Manchester United, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Ajax, Paris Saint-Germain. Those are the very, just to mention a few clubs that actually start from nowhere and then they end up ruling the world. And if you look at how they manage to reach the top, there are some certain principles, there are some certain things, rules you have to follow. And those rules, once you abide by them, one day you will eventually reach the top of the tree. And as many people say, one man's meat is another man's poison. What is best for you is not necessarily best for me. What is good for you is not necessarily good for me. But however, ultimately, everybody wants to start from somewhere and then reach somewhere. In simple terms, we will call it the course of life. And life, incidentally, is not a sprint, as many of my followers will agree with me. Life is like, how would I put it? It's like a relay race whereby you will have to race for 100 meters and then pass the baton to another person, and this person will carry on for another 100 meters and so on until you reach the end of the race. But the more or the better prepared you are, the more chances you have to win the race. And the same thing applied to the real life. And the better prepared you are, the higher the chances of you reaching the top of the tree. Among the secrets of life we will be talking in this series, one of them is never give up. Never forget your roots. Here I will mention one book which was given to me a few years back on my birthday, and it was the autobiography of President Trump of the United States of America. And I remember when I read this book, one particular paragraph, he was talking about what can make you successful, what can make you reach the top. And I remember he said, never forget your roots. It's the key to becoming successful, is the key to reaching the top of your tree. Never forget your roots. And apart from that, he said something which I always advocate anywhere I find myself, which is, what takes you to the top is what will keep you there. If you just close your eyes for a few minutes, you will understand. It's quite easy to understand. How many of us will be working extremely hard? How many of us will be making sacrifices? How many of us will actually make? How many of us will remember working extremely hard in order to reach the top of the tree, but as soon as they get there, they just forget that the secret of life is to be working as hard as you started in order to maintain yourself at that level. I personally if I have to be more explicit in what I want to say, originally I come from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And for those of you who know the Democratic Republic of Congo, it is in Central Africa. It is a country which is about 4 times the size of France and 80 times the size of Belgium. As I'm talking to you, there are so many unrest in my country of origin, which is the Democratic Republic of Congo. So many things are going on, and the government, those in power right now are trying to do their best in order to get things to run as smoothly as possible. However, what the Democratic Republic of Congo is experiencing now, from what I said to you earlier, if you can remember, anything that we experience in the physical world has been pre-said or pre-prepared or predetermined in the spiritual realm. We know what scientists are saying right now about the future of the world. The future is being dominated by technology. Scientists are trying to make the 4 corners of the earth to become like one, meaning regardless to which part of the world you are, technology has made it possible for us to be able to converse, to be able to reach each other, to be able to talk to each other within minutes, as though we were still within physical reach of each other. All these things have been made possible because of the advance in technology. And recently, bearing in mind the global warming, if you go to the website of the Greenpeace, if you listen to most of the leaders, there have been lots of meetings recently regarding how or what we can do to reduce the impact of the global warming on planet Earth. And among the measures taken by various governments, we will try to reduce the spread of carbon monoxide as much as we can, so that we can protect the planet Earth. And among the solution, scientists have found out we will have to become less and less reliant on the use of petrol, for instance, so that the pollution of the atmosphere can be reduced as much as possible. Hence, we're talking about electric cars, which in future will not be needing fuel or fossil fuel in order to work. They will all be electric. And we're talking about mobile technology. It's getting so advanced that from information technology, we went to artificial intelligence. From artificial intelligence, we're talking about augmented technology. And from augmented technology, we're talking about Internet of Things, whereby machines will be talking to machines. And if machines are able to talk to machines, regardless where you find yourself, all this technology will be made possible by the use of the resources, mineral resources, which are mainly found in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We all know about coltan, we all know about cobalt, we all know about manganese, and all these natural resources are found in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Whether we like it or not, the eyes of the world are looking towards the Democratic Republic of Congo. And if within the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, the world will be relying on raw material or natural resources coming from the Democratic Republic of Congo, it is obvious the whole world will have to seek to have some kind of priority as far as diplomatic relations are concerned, so that when the technology will reach the point where the motor industry will be mass producing electric vehicle, or the mobile technology will make it possible for us to be for machines to talk to machines, meaning for signal to move from one end to another without you having to be physically plugged or stuck in one place. We will have to make sure there is peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But surprisingly enough, over the last 15 years, millions of people have been killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But the world seems to have put a blind eye. And not many people actually understand. And that is where I said we live on one planet, but two worlds. So many things have been pre-said in the spiritual realm. And if things have been said in the spiritual realm, it's up to each and everybody to understand in depth what is going on. And for the world to actually achieve the goals set by various organizations, we have to make sure that peace prevail in the Democratic Republic of Congo, so that whatever is needed to get out of the Republic of Congo, the Congolese people will actually benefit from it, and the rest of the world as well. And for that to be possible, we have to make sure we understand or we learn about the secrets of life. And the one we're going to talk right now is how to maintain the input you bring today, even when you reach the situation you want to find yourself at. It is not really easy, because it's just similar to a football club. I can't imagine a manager wasting so much time recruiting different players from different parts of the world and improving the facilities, training facilities, dieting, and medical facility within the training ground, within the club. And then when you start winning trophies, you just drop your guards. It's never done anywhere, because you spend so much time investing. It's exactly what is going all over the world. United States of America, China, UK, France, and so on. They're spending so much time investing in today's life so that tomorrow will be better, and then the future life will also be guaranteed, you know. And for that to be actually possible, we just have to make sure we understand the secrets of life, the many secrets, the many ways, and the many adage, the many says. It will be virtually impossible for me to talk about all of them today. But today is just a kind of introduction to make everybody understand that spiritually so many things are being decided about our lives. And the world in which we live, it's like this giant theater where you find actors, and then you say play directors, and the ultimate director is the Almighty God that actually decides the roles for each and every one. to play in this giant theater. And if you want to be successful, if you want to be kept, just like on a football pitch, the manager decides what system you want to play. He wants the team to play. And then he assigns tasks to each players. And then collectively you will all try, you will have one goal, is to try and win trophies, win matches. But you cannot talk about, let's say, if there are 22 games in a season, you will all agree with me, best managers will go from one game to another. They will never be planning 20 games at the same time. You plan one, you win. If you lose, you concentrate, you gather, you learn on your mistake, you dust up, you fall, you dust up, and then you carry on walking. And this is one of the principles of life. Regardless how many times you fall, the most important thing is to grab yourself together, you dust up, and then you continue. And that is why you will see most third world countries always lags when it comes to scientific progress or technological advancement, is because some of those basic strategies, some of those basic secrets about life is either we choose not to remain focused, or for some reason people just take things for granted. Like, oh well, no matter what happened, no matter how bad the administration is, we're going to make it, we're going to progress, we're going to cross the river, we're going to be competitive enough to face whatever challenge is thrown into us. But in reality, things don't work that way. If you want to be competitive, if you want to be surviving anything that is thrown towards you, if you want to come out triumphant when it comes to every single challenge, you have to have principles around you. And those principles, some of them can be very basic, but somebody has to tell you, somebody must tell you. And for today, I think I will tell you what governs the entire world. And most people who seems to have understood those principles, they are always winners. It's a small adage. I'm sure everybody knows the national park in East Africa called Serengeti. And this is something I found on the wall of one of my clients. I happened to visit his office one day, and then I saw it written on the wall, and it's quite deep. And it was saying, listen to me very carefully. This is what we will develop in details in my next live video. When we will be talking about the secret of life. It says, every morning when the sun rises in Serengeti, the lion knows he's got to run faster than the slowest of gazelle. Or every morning in the Serengeti Park, when the sun rises, the gazelle knows it must run faster than the fastest of lions. Every day in the Serengeti Park, whether you are the lion or the gazelle, when the sun rises, you'd better be on the run, or else face death. This is what we will develop in my next live video. I repeat it again. Every morning in the Serengeti Park, when the sun rises, the lion must run faster than the slowest of a gazelle. Every morning in the Serengeti Park, when the sun rises, the gazelle must run than the fastest of lion. Every morning in the Serengeti Park, whether you are the gazelle or the lion, when the sun rises, you'd better be on the run, or else you will face death. This is so deep, and this is the main principle behind which our life is constructed, our life is built. In my next broadcast, I will go into details about what it means. Now, right now, all I will say, the lion is regarded as the king of the forest. The gazelle is regarded as the weakest. However, when the sun rises, whether you are the lion or a gazelle, you better be on the run, or else you will face death. We will go into details regarding the meaning of this adage, but it's one of the main secrets of survival. Thank you very much for following me, and shortly, within the next few days, we will develop and we will go into details. We will talk about how we can actually survive on this planet, which comprises two worlds: the dark world and the light world, the spiritual world and the physical world.
Bienvenue sur BBW TV, votre nouvelle chaîne sur YouTube.